Hi, welcome to my channel. Now today I'm going to talk about how I started my business. I'm going to talk about a little bit about behind the scene. I hope that this video is very helpful for you. So let's get into it. Now I've been doing hair for over 35 years. And once I got out of cosmetology school, I immediately went to go work for a salon owner. Now I worked at the salon for over 6 years. Then after the 6th year, she was ready to sell her salon. Now the person that bought the salon, I really wasn't that enthused with them because after I met him, I was like, oh my God, I can't work for this person. So I went on a mission to try to find a salon. So I went to the bank to go get a loan, and the bank told me that we don't give loans to start a business. So I was a little disappointed. I was a little hurt, but it is what it is. So I had to so then I thought about it, where this lady, the person that I worked for, sold her business to someone. So I went on a mission to try to find someone to see if they were selling theirs. So back then we had newspaper. So I went on there and I looked in there and I ended up finding a lady that was selling her salon. And it's just so happened, it was a mile away. It was on the same street that I was on, but a mile up. I couldn't believe it. And I wanted to stay somewhere nearby because I had already had a clientele that was already established. And I didn't want to go too far because a lot of times clients don't want to, go far, and they want to stay in the same area because a lot of times they live in that area and then they get used to the same routine. So I was like, thank God it was right down the street. So I called the lady, set up an appointment, and I looked at it. I was like, oh my God, I was ecstatic. It was nice. It was, at the time when I bought the salon, it was an open floor plan. So, and it had 10 stations there. So when I started, when we talked about it, she informed me that the lease already, she still had some years on the lease. And I said, okay. So I think she had like 4 or 5 years. So we talked about it. She told me how many years she had left on there. And then she told me how much it was a month. Now, the rent, it was the rent, but then the utility and the phone and everything was separate. So we sat down and we talked about, I wanted to know exactly how much the monthly bill was. And she showed me the bills on how much it was. She told me, no, she didn't hide anything from me, because that's the thing. You need to make sure any debts, any bills that's behind on the phone, if she owe any debts on the building, any liens, not on the building, but on her business. So we got through all that. She had nothing. She showed me the gas bill, the electrical bill, the phone bill. So it wouldn't be no surprise to me. So I said, okay. So once I found out that I could handle it, we discussed how much she was selling it for. So at the time, I think she was selling the business for 15 or 20,000. I can't quite remember. So my brother-in-law at the time was a professional football player. So he helped me with it. And then I just had to pay him back later. So that's just something that I just wanted to disclose, to let you know that I had help. So once we decided to get the business, I wanted to know what came with that. So she advised me that all the things like the shampoo bowls, the shampoo chairs, the dryer chairs, the styling chairs, the station, all the colors. So everything that was already in the salon came with it. She wasn't taking anything, like the lounging chairs, everything that came, the phone. So everything that came, I was keeping. So I said, okay. So she was already established. That's one good thing about it. She was already established. The salon was already established. She had operators already there working. But then in my mind, I was saying, okay, the same thing happened with me when I found out that the salon sold it. It was a possibility that her stylist was going to leave once they found out. So she didn't put that in the contract because she don't own them, and they could walk because they had an agreement with her and not with me. So I understood that. So once we did I paid her and we did the transaction and it became mine. We end up calling the phone company and I end up changing it because she owned that line. So she had to give them the okay to give me the line because I wanted to keep the same number. It didn't make sense because then I was going to have to wait for the phone company to come out. That was back then for them to set it up. I just wanted to get up and run it. So we switched we switched the phone bill. We was on the phone, and instead of them, her getting it cut off, and then I have to wait. All we did was just switched over everything. So she did that for me. The transaction was beautiful. It was a sweet deal. So now, I'm ready to get started, but I'm still working at the other salon because it wasn't ready to work yet. So then once the other operators found out that I ended up getting it, they ended up quitting. I knew it was a possibility, so I wasn't upset. I was ecstatic. I was happy because it was something new. I was young. I was vibrant. So I said, okay, no problem. I didn't have any money because I already spent, put all the money down to give to the lady that I purchased the salon from. And my brother-in-law helped me. My mother, my brother, my friends, we all came in there and we painted, to spoof it up a little bit. And that was really all I did. Now, did I actually like the salon chairs and the dryer chair? No, I didn't. But what I did know is that it was a turnkey. I could go in there and I could start working. And that's all that I needed to do because now I just came out that money and I had to start paying my brother-in-law. So prior to me starting, coming to work, the salon, I had to go and set up a LLC or, same thing as an EIN number. So once I did that, I had to, get in contact with the state board of cosmetologists because you have to get a salon assumed name to work. So the name of your salon has to be on the license. So I ended up calling them. It took them a while. I had to make a sketch of the drawing of the salon. And then it's certain guidelines. You have to have exit. You have to show them that that if something happened, that the person could, the customers have, exits to get out. It's supposed to be like 2. So then they came in. I had to wait till state board come in to approve it. So they came in. I finally got approved. I was like, okay, which I knew it was because it was already an existing salon. So they knew it was already an existing salon. So that was one of the good things that I like about having an existing salon because you don't have to do all the hard leg work because the previous person, the person that opened the salon the first time, did all the leg work. So then once I did that, okay, I had the business license. So, okay, I said I had that. Then I went to the bank and I had to open up a bank account in the business name. Then I have to go to the state where I live to get assume name so nobody else in that area could use my name that I had chose for my business. So once I had that all established and everything went good, I was ready to work. I was so excited. It was an easy transition, and the people did leave. So after about a month, I ended up getting probably like 7 or 8 people working at the salon because the people that was at the previous salon that I was working didn't want to work for the new owners, but they knew who I was and they knew my personality. Now, they didn't know me as an owner, but they knew me personally. So they all came down there. So now like 7 or 8 people came, and then it was me, so it was 9. So I think I made it have one salon, one station open. When I tell you, it was the easiest transition that I ever did, starting a business. Now, yeah, I came up with, with 15 or 20,000, because I can't remember. And that was back then. Now, buying a business is probably a lot more. I don't know. But then once I end up, building up momentum and saving money and paid my brother-in-law off the amount that he gave me, I called a upholstery guy that was in the industry, that did salon, picking the color that I wanted. And I ended up keeping the station because they were wood and they were solid and they were good. I ended up getting it changed. And when I tell you, the salon looked like a totally different salon. So that was my take on how I opened up my first salon. I hope it was helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm going to drop some more videos about how I opened a salon, because I ended up staying there maybe about 10 years. And the owner of the building ended up selling it to another owner. And then he came in and he wanted to inflate the rent. And I didn't want to pay that. So I had to go get another salon. So I'll tell you about that. So this is part 1 of how I opened up my salon. And if it was helpful for you, I hope it was, that drop me a comment, ask me some more questions, and I'll be willing to answer it. So I'll see you in the next video.